Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good evening. I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna drop this video. So greetings, my good people. Welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Hearts channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topics. Now, if you are tuned into this segment of my channel and you are tuned into the hot topics segment where I do my show reviews. And today we will be reviewing episode 7, season 3 of College Hill Celebrity Edition. Let's jump right on in. I don't even want to wait. Anywho, I got my notes here. The name of this episode is called Don't Get Lost in the Sauce. And what I'm inclined to believe about College Hill is that Saucy Santana is the star, which I kind of like because I told y'all in my head Saucy is like my cousin or something like that. Anyway, the episode starts off and they're still in their music history class. Remember, they had started a new class. They added a new class to the roster after the midterms, and it's a music history class with Dr. Shakina. And I mean, for the most part, the class is a good class. You could tell she's a black professor. You know, she's very knowledgeable in the subject area that she teaches. And she's not here for play. So she's like, listen, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. And if you do everything you're supposed to do, things should flow smoothly. So now you got your man Saucy. And remember, Saucy is a recording artist. So here we are in music class. This is something that I specialize in, something I like. So Saucy is in there turning the swag on right here. And they're discussing, you know, his relationship with music, meaning like in the beginning when he was younger, he lived in a certain area, he was introduced to this type of music. Then when he moved to this area, he was introduced to this type. But what he mostly said is that when he moved to Florida, that's when he really knew like, okay, I think this is where I want to kind of start digging into my musical roots, because Florida has a different sound to it. You know, their beat selection, just the way they carry music, period, is something that attracted him. So he was there, and once again, doing his big one. The teacher liked him. The class is excited for him. The castmates is excited for him. They like, yeah, Saucy, do your big one. We couldn't wait for you to do that, right? So while they sitting in the class, Dr. Shakina shows a video, because a lot of what she's teaching at the moment is pretty much the grassroots of music, and she's teaching the history and the culture of it. So she's going all the way back to when folks were playing the drums and, you know, what that culture and heritage looks like. So she shows a video in a class of one of I forgot what it was about, but it was pretty much the drum playing and so on and so forth. And while she's showing the video, you know, it caused some folks to get a little tired because, you know, they're sitting, they're complacent, you know, it's kind of slow motion. So China started dozing off, right? So Saucy Santana looked over. He was like, Chai, you need to take a walk. You tired? You want to get on up? And again, he took this opportunity to throw digs at everybody, because he said, when it's me, the microscope is beaming down on me, and everybody's making sure that I stay awake and I do what I need to do, and it's such a big deal when I do it. So now when I'm catching other motherfuckers playing this up, I'm tapping them. Hey, like I had to get up, you need to get the fuck up too. So Black China was looking at Saucy. Okay, girl. Okay, but nothing really came out of that, right? What China did say in her confessional is like, she's like, listen, Saucy could tap me all he want. I don't have time for this. I'm tired. I'm annoyed. What it looks like to me that's happening with Angela is she's in it because of the emotional overload she had last episode. I think that she's starting to kind of a little bit crash out, and I don't want to say necessarily that she's gonna quit altogether or anything like that, but you could tell that things are starting to take a toll on her, and she's losing her momentum to keep going. So I guess for her, dozing off at that point wasn't a big deal, because it's almost like, listen, I'm tired and I'm over this shit a little bit any fucking way, right? So, and I understand that, because like she said the last time, which is why she crashed out, I'm here doing what I can, and I don't feel like it's being recognized or noticed. But in any event, what I do like is, like I told you guys, this is a resilient cast. So she's willing to keep going, right? So, anywho, basically, they just show a little montage of Saucy doing his thing, right? And I like that, because they always show the montages of Saucy playing himself and not being where he's supposed to be, and clubbing and drinking and partying and on the phone and so on and so forth. So I like the fact that now Saucy is doing what he got to do. Let me show y'all him getting busy as well. So I could appreciate that. They show Saucy doing his 1-2 in the class, participating. They show him at school events. He went out and did some school events, and they was letting him perform, and it was a nice thing. It was a nice thing. So I'm like, okay, Saucy, I see you putting your all into this experience, making it worth your while. You might come out on top after all, right? In any event, back at the house, Claudia was like, listen, we had a hard couple of weeks. I kind of want us to unwind. So she had ordered some massage therapists to come over and massage China, Tamar, and her, right? So I was like, oh, Claudia, you shady only for the ladies? Ooh. Excuse me, y'all. Anywho, she called them. They came on in. They got their massage beds out, and they start getting busy. And Tamar, again, you know Tamar is Queen Dramatic, so she did, dig deeper, go harder. You know Tamar's a drama queen, and she's been very, very calm this whole season. So you know at some point some of her dramatization was going to spill out. So I was kind of fake here for it. I was cracking up laughing. Carlos and them was looking at it. They was like, they having fun in there. Look like to me, this is too much. You know, so it was so cute. In any event, afterwards, they was informed. The cast was informed that Dr. Payton, the academic advisor, she wanted to have a meeting with them. So the meeting was on Skype or Zoom or fucking FaceTime. I don't know. She just was on the TV screen, and they all had to come down to the living room to sit there so she could talk to them. So when she brought them down there, I mean, the conversation wasn't long. She just was basically saying, listen, we are at the last leg of the race. So whatever loose ends y'all need to tie up, y'all need to do that now. So if you have some professors that you need to speak to from last term, you need to call them today. You need to email them today. If you have any work that you need to hand in, you need to do so, because we are slowly but surely stumbling upon graduation time, and we want everybody to get what they came here for, right? So they like, okay, Professor Payton, okay, Dr. Payton, rather. So now, you know what conclusion I came to about Dr. Payton? Dr. Payton, of course, is the academic advisor at Xavier, but for the show, she's also the entertainment for Xavier as far as the show goes. Because a lot of the things that she does, I'm almost sure, especially regarding Saucy Santana, I'm almost sure that if there was no cameras rolling, she would be able to assess certain things better and make different choices when it came to this student and how to service them. But again, you got to have some drama in the show, else it wouldn't be interesting. So for her thing is to get with Saucy, and that's her role here. I see that, right? So after she says all that to the entire cast, right, she says to Saucy in front of everybody, oh, and Santana, I need you to come to the school tomorrow and meet with me, so on and so forth. Now, I knew the moment that those words left her mouth, here we go. Game on, here we go, right? So Santana is looking at her like... here the fuck we go again, bitch. So she was like, yeah, I'm going to need you to come meet with me tomorrow, okay? So he was like, okay, well, I have some free time now. So would you like to meet right now? She was like, no, I think it would be best for us to meet face to face, and I think it would be best for us to meet tomorrow. Saucy, and all Saucy fucking flavor did exactly what Saucy does. This lady is not going to hold it on me. She's not going to aggravate me, and she's not going to see me. So FYI, PSA, miss, you won't see me tomorrow, and as a matter of fact, you won't even see me right now. Have a blessed fucking day. Mwah. Got up and exited stage left. And I was just like, here we go. Here we go again. And you're telling me that she was just like, hey. And I swear to God, that was the same exact feeling of the entire cast. Because they put the camera on every cast member and they was like, there's not a fucking kid. So now Saucy leaves out and he's like, listen, I'm going to be going, I'm leaving. I'm about to start packing. I don't have to, you know what? Fuck school, fuck Dr. Payton, fuck these grades, fuck these finals, fuck this graduation, fuck this house, fuck this cast. Like, I mean, it was just over at that point. It was just over at that point. Again, in the real world, that would have never happened, because most times educators, I would hope so, they find unique ways to service young people. And one of the ways that we try our best, or should be, I know I definitely try, is not to trigger a young person. And if you know certain things is going to trigger them, you refrain from doing so, because the goal is not to trigger them, the goal is to help them. Right? And I think with Dr. Payton, she gets a kick out of showing Saucy who's the boss, because she knows Saucy doesn't like to follow rules. So that's my thing. Every time I get a chance, I'm going to show you that I run this shit. And every time she tries it, he's going to remind her that nobody runs me. And I guess that's the back and forth of what they do to make the show entertaining. So I'm kind of fake here for it, right? But in the real world, with both of those personalities, I don't think that they would be able to get along or mesh, honestly and truly. But it's more entertaining to see it on the show. Right? Like I said, the staff, I mean, the cast was just looking at Santana like, Santana, you got to stop responding this way. You have to stop responding this way. You don't even know why lady want to see you tomorrow. Maybe you should grow up, handle your business, and do what you need to do. You already acknowledged that you fucked up before. Don't continue fucking up. Do what you got to do. Go check in with the lady tomorrow. See what she want to talk about. See if you can still graduate. And let's get on with it, because she didn't even say to you what she wanted to meet with you about. Maybe she want to give you some good news. Saucy was like, I don't want to hear that bullshit. Like I said, I'm not pushing and pumping through. I'm done with this. I'm done with her. I'm done with that. So I'm just going to chill until you guys graduate and I can go the fuck home. So everybody was like, yeah, Saucy, we disappointed in you. So anyway, here we go the next day. Everybody is up and at 'em. I guess the cast had ordered some chicken and waffles because that was on display downstairs. Claudia was... Claudia... Again, there may not be a glam squad there, right? So I'm not asking that nobody be dolled up. Half the time I show up on this damn camera with a hat on. So it's not about, always looking like you're stepping off the runway. But what it's also not about is not always looking disheveled, like it was a fight for you to get your hair on. It was a fight for you to get your makeup on. You just look very disheveled. Everything looked shifted and tugged to the side. It was given a real Whitney Houston wig when everything, you know what, moving right along. Claudia was downstairs eating her chicken and waffles. Carlos came down, and it's the tug of war of the valedictorian thing. But again, Carlos is trying to keep his cool because he's trying to act like he don't want it that bad. And Claudia is making it clear that, bitch, I got my motherfucking feet in your motherfucking chest because I'm fighting for this valedictorian position. Which is, a beautiful thing to aspire to. There's nothing wrong with that, right? We'll learn later on in the show that she's also doing it for a reason. It has some significant meaning behind why she's moving the way she's moving to get what she wants, right? So then Blac Chyna comes out. And I'm going to call her Blac Chyna because there's no way in hell that this was Angela. So Tokyo Chyna, Blac Chyna face was beat to the gods. Them finger waves gone. She had her middle part bust down. Chyna had on her dress that showed every nip, tuck, and curve and bump. Oh, baby, Tokyo Chyna was in the building. She looked just like her mother. She looked exactly like her mother in the face when she came and sat down. I was like, okay, this episode Blac Chyna is still around. We're still not fully back to Angela. Okay, no problem. So anyway, Blac Chyna basically was saying she had shared that her last, when she had got the grade that she got, I think she got a C or something in the Mardi Gras history class, she wasn't happy about it, which is the class I told you her and Nick struggled with the PowerPoint presentation. So she said what she was able to do, which I thought she should have did from the beginning, was figure out how to use PowerPoint and present the lady with the presentation so you can earn a better grade. And in the event, she said she did get a chance to do so, and she earned an A, which puts her back in the running to become valedictorian, and really and truly that's what she's striving for as well. So it's Claudia, Carlos, and Angela fighting for the valedictorian spot. I thought Tamar would be in it as well, because remember, her and Claudia had the same GPA when they did their midterm exams and overall grades for that point in the semester. But Tamar's like, listen, no, I'm just happy to be doing well. I'm not really thirsty to be valedictorian the way Angela, Carlos, and Claudia is, right? So they also showed that she had asked how to earn some extra credit. So what Dr. Frazier said to them was, in order for them to earn 5 more points added to their grade, they had to do a voter registration event. And you had to get as much students to sign up to register to vote, right? And whoever got the most students, they would get the 5 extra points added to their grade. So what they did was, once again, they busted down in teams. So it was Claudia and Blac Chyna on one team, and it was Carlos and Nick on another. We already know Saucy is no longer participating in anything according to him. So when they said they was going to do the voter registration event, Saucy was like, have a good time. Tamar wasn't feeling good. She said she had a booming headache and she was just going to sit this one out. So it was like, okay, cool. Yes, so that was it. That was that for that. That's why China was all dolled up, because her plan was to attract as many students as she could to get them to register to vote. She was even willing to offer a follow back on social media. That's how bad she wanted it, right? So, in any event, now they at the voters registration event. They teamed up, and Dr. Frazier is letting them know, listen, you guys have an hour. Each team has an hour to get as many students to register to vote, right? So they going around, Claudia and China is trying to, hey, come over here, letting them know the benefits of voting and how it affects them and so on and so forth. Your man Carlos looked around. He said, okay, so I'm not Claudia and Black China, so I know what I can do. And see, Carlos was smart because he was ahead of the game. Before they even left the house to come to this event, he called and got, he said he needed, I don't know if he said 50 boxes, I think he said 50 pizzas, so that could be about 50 divided by 8, maybe 7 boxes. 8 times 7 is 56, maybe 6 boxes, 6 or 7 boxes, right? And he got it delivered to the school. And what he bribed the kids with is, he was like, if you come and if you come and sign up to register to vote with me, you could get a free slice of pizza. So the kids were like, oh shit. So they started running over there to him. I was like, okay, Carlos, I see you. That made all the sense in the world. So now Claudia and China's like, these motherfuckers are cheating, but we gonna keep going to do what we gotta do. Claudia starts saying, I'm willing to flirt, I'm willing to give up a picture, I'm also willing to give a follow back. It was hilarious. So anyway, they going head to head. Finally, the 60 minutes was up. So Dr. Frazier was like, listen, I'll count the fellas' votes, and he got one of his teacher's assistants to count the ladies' votes, and we'll see what we could do. And it was so crazy because even with all the incentives that Carlos offered the students to try to win the debate, to try to win the challenge, do you know that Claudia and Black China ended up winning? They had 31 more registered voters than Nick and Carlos. So they was like, what the fuck? We cannot be against these bitches. Like, every minute they win everything. But Carlos did say, he said, no matter even if you offer food, you cannot go up against a black, beautiful woman. I said, you better talk about it, you franchise boy. So anyway, what I loved about it is when it was over, Dr. Frazier was so proud of them. He was so happy that they gave it all they got, that they was being innovative, that they showed up, that they gave it their best. So he was like, you know what? I'm giving everybody the extra credit, right? So I thought that was nice. But then Claudia was looking at Dr. Frazier. She was like, motherfucker, I'm trying to win valedictorian, so if you give them extra credit too, that might keep us on the same playing field. And bitch, I showed up here because I'm trying to win by landslide, motherfucker. But thanks, Dr. Frazier. I was cracking up. And I feel Claudia, because it's like, boy, I'm trying to get up in this to win this, and now you just giving out freebies. You might as well give Santana and Tamar the 5 as fucking well. Right? So I was like, okay. Now, back at the house, we see that Black China has probably left and Angela has returned. Because now we're back to the finger waves and no makeup and the soft face and the looking human again. Right? So what she was doing was she was sitting down talking to Carlos, and I really loved their conversation. It was a very heartfelt conversation because China was saying, she was acknowledging that Carlos had really grown through this experience. She was like, initially when we got started, you was getting on my fucking nerves because every minute you argue with this one, you're starting with that one, and you're not being open-minded about everything, and everything is the great debate and the big black man and fight the power. And she was like, I was trying to get the best out of this experience, and initially you were like fake ruining it for me. And he was like, I know I can be difficult at times. And he was like, that's just because I'm so used to handling things solo dolo. He was like, so a lot of times when I'm put in group situations, I struggle because it's not really my thing. He was like, but being here with you guys and seeing the teamwork and the support even through adversity, it made me see myself in a different light, and it made me want to try to be more open with working with a group. So she was like, yes, and when you opened up your mind, your attitude, and your fucking white tee, you became way better than you were before, and you became more enjoyable to be around and to work with. So I thought that was a very good conversation. I think that I like that they both was pouring into each other in the moment. And I also love about this show that there's no sexual situation going on with any of the cast. So a lot of these relationships are just genuine relationships being built off the fact that I fucks with you because of who you are, not because I'm screwing you, not because I want to date you. So I like to see that, and I definitely love to see it between men and women, because a lot of times, oftentimes, if not all the time, people try to act like men and women cannot be friends. And yes, we can. I have a male best friend, and we've been friends for over 40 years now. And it's nothing sexual. It's 100% platonic, and it's genuine, right? So I thought that was cool. So then the next day they have their final in their music and culture class, right? And what it consists of is them going over to what is it called, Congo Square. And in Congo Square, that's where all the seasoned musicians are. They're there and they're playing their instruments and dancing. And what the cast had to do was learn how to play the instruments and do the dances, because they were going to Congo Square to now be there with the musicians and participate, right? And Dr. Sakina was like, listen, I'm not asking you to be an Alvin Ailey, right? It was a short period of time. You're going to F up. My thing is your participation and your willingness to even do so in the first place. So if you show me you in it to win it and you thug it out and you try your best, then you're going to pass, right? So when they got out there, the one thing that I did love about it is that they all tried their best. They all tried their best. You seen Claudia doing her white girl dances. You seen Black China trying to make sure she don't come off like a stripper, so she trying to tone it down, but you can still see the hints of lusty in her. You can see Tamar, because Tamar's a performer, so you can see her doing her thing. Nick and Carlos is there on the drums, and they're really trying. And what I liked is they was very much submersed in the culture, because they talked a lot about what they learned in the music culture class, how it influenced what they do today, and also the culture, the heritage, and more importantly, the ancestors. So it's a more reflective moment, because a lot of times when you get into things, right? Anything, music, sports, acting, sometimes people don't do the backstory, and some people don't go and investigate the history of things and why things are the way that they are. They just jump in head first because at the moment it feels good and it looks good, right? But when you research the history of things and you realize how significant what you are doing is, you go into it more engaged, more wholehearted, and it has more meaning to you, right? Like case in point with the healing journey. You know, a lot of times I only talk about what it means on the surface. Who is it? Hold on for a second.
Man,
Hi, Mr. Wiley. No, he at work.
I meant to give you this to him just the other day when you came in, but you probably not gonna do it. You must have went back in the room.
Yes, all right. He gonna love it. Thank you, Uncle Wally. Tell my girl I said hey. Well, guess who won't be editing that out? Because I'm already about 30 minutes into the freaking video, right? But that was my Uncle Wally. He wanted to give something for Pookie. Such lovely neighbors. Such lovely neighbors. So what I was saying was that, you know, once again, I always talk about on the surface, I discuss the healing journey. But when you actually come to Healing Hearts Mixers, or I'm doing the work with you independently, we go through what it looks like, the heritage, the culture, and what healing really means to women, Black people, you know, how we've advanced, because, you know, it's just a whole rigmarole. So I like seeing them getting to learn the music culture. That was beautiful for me, and I could see it was beautiful for them, right? Especially a person like Claudia, because once again, Claudia is biracial, and she was really raised by her Caucasian mom. So for her to see a lot of her Black heritage and culture, I think she really enjoys learning that, right? And in the event, the next class was their Media Converge class. And in their Media Conversion class, this was their final project, which is they have to interview one another. And the interview was about, you have to interview your partner. You have to find out what they're doing in their life, what they're proud of, what legacy they want to leave behind, and so on and so forth for the school paper, right? So they was like, okay, it's on today, right? So I got to get me a studio. Pookie, I need a studio. But in any event, yes. So how it went is it was Carlos and Tamar, it was Angela and Claudia, and it was Nick and Saucy. So how it works is you interview your partner, and then you come up with this whole blurb about them, their life story and their legacy, and what they want to leave behind in the media about themselves, right? And they do the same for you. And the goal was to present it in front of the class about your partner, right? Everything you got from what they shared with you, how you put it together, and you know what it makes your partner look like, and so on and so forth, right? So Saucy basically was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm going out. I already told y'all I'm checked out and done with this, so I'm going to the club. So Nick was like, damn. So it's like, this for me. Like, you my boy. Like, you can't thug it out with me. You can't do what we need to do. You know, come on, we trying to. So he was like, babe, I'm done with that, okay? You okay? Okay. So Nick was like, okay, no problem. I'm not going to chase you around. I'm not surprised because this is what you do. But what I really, really liked about Nick, and I saw this with Nick when he got mad with Claudia when she said they were smoking weed and all that, is that Nick, again, he comes across very goofy, like he doesn't take things seriously. But then there's a side of him that can be very, very serious and on it, and you could tell the things that he's serious about. And this experience is one of them, right? So when he saw that source, he was like, listen, I'm not doing that bullshit. He was like, okay, no problem. He kindly went to the school, found him one of the students that he had connected with and was like, hey, can you do me a favor? And he asked the person to write the story for him. He gave her the information and was like, listen, we're going to move on. I have a plan B because I'm not going to be chasing saucy ass the fuck around. So I was like, come on now, Nick, you better do what you got to do, right? So now it's finals week. It's finals week, right? And they go to Congo Square. Like I said, they did what they had to do, right? Then they head to the Converge Media class, and now they're going to present their situation, right? So first up was Angela and Claudia. As you guys can see, right? I have absolutely no fear of public speaking. None at all. If you set me, as long as I'm knowledgeable about what I'm speaking about, as long as folks can hear me and I can articulate myself well, and as long as I look presentable because I like to feel comfortable and confident up there, I am not at all shy of public speaking. So sometimes when I see people so stressed out, I be like, wow, like, what's making you afraid in this moment? Especially when you know what you're talking about. Now, when I don't know what I'm talking about, I kind of struggle because I'm very good at improv, but I hate to improv on certain situations and certain subjects because it makes you look stupid because you don't know what you're talking about and you just randomly throwing things in there. But if I'm knowledgeable on something, I can blow through it as easily. I can speak about it confidently, and I have no fear. So when I see people so afraid and nervous, I'm like, what is happening in these moments? So as you guys know, for whatever reason, Angela, she has an issue. You know what? I don't think the issue is speaking publicly in front of people. I think the issue is what I'm speaking about. I think that Angela is on her healing journey, and I think that, of course, she's trying and she's persevering, and I'm very proud of her. But when you're on your healing journey, it does not mean that all of the ugly moments, and it does not mean all of the bad choices, and it does not mean all of the difficult things that people know about you and can say about you have subsided. You just don't want to dwell on them because you're moving forward, but it doesn't mean that they're not there. So I think for her, even sometimes hearing good about herself is a little bit uncomfortable because she knows that there is some bad parts. And I honestly pray that some of these cast members will come and get their Operation Heal 100 Heart sessions, because what I will be doing with her is what I do most times in my Healing Heart sessions, which is confidence building. You don't need to be ashamed of bad choices, transgressions, or anything else that you have done, or even what you're currently doing. You know why I say so? Because there's always room for growth and change. You just have to want it. Angela, you're immersed in the growth and the change. So you should always want to hear good things about yourself to keep you going, and you should never cringe or be in fear of hearing who you used to be, because guess what? You're growing and you're changing. So when she got up there and she had to speak in front of the class, she had to speak about Tamar, but she was just so freaked out about having to be in front of the class. And what she said was, I don't know if I'm more freaked out about speaking about Claudia or about hearing about myself. And initially she stumbled, but one thing I love about her, and that's why I said I'm so proud of her and her journey, is that she recovered. And also that she's resilient, because she said in the confessional, yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to get past this in this moment because I need this motherfucking passing grade, and I need it to be high because I'm fighting for something here, which is valedictorian, right? So she pushed through and she got out her blurb for Claudia, right? It was cool. It was cute. It was Claudia's turn. Claudia put together a blurb for Blac Chyna. I mean, what I personally didn't like about any of the blurbs that they did is because I felt like that should have been a time to share something about the individual that the public doesn't already know, right? So a lot of the things that they said, unless they did say some things that we wouldn't have already known, and production edited it out. Basically, what they shared on the show from what they said was stuff that we already know. So it was like, okay, got it. So anywho, they good. They sat down. Then Carlos and Tamar went up there, and once again, it was the same thing. It was like, okay, Tamar, this type of person, but she sings and she dances and she's a mom. Blah, 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 blah. And then Carlos went up there, calls an entertainer, and he wants to leave a legacy behind of being an entertainer. Like, I mean, I didn't really get nothing from it that would suggest that, you know, there's anything different that we don't know. And I feel like with this experience, College Hill, it's supposedly totally outside of what we see and know about this celebrity. So I would have liked to see and hear something different about them, right? So I was like, okay, I mean, I guess, right? Anyway, what happened then? Oh, so at that point, they was like, okay, Nick, it's your go. We're going to get you ready up and rolling. We know you partner with. And the motherfucking doors flung open. And who came marching in but Source, the motherfucking boss. The whole class, including the professor, was like... on pins and needles, and then the way he marched in with an attitude like he been there all fucking day or night. Saucy is a piece of fucking work, right? And in the confession, he said, I got something for their ass. I'm going to surprise them. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Sauce going to go up there and going to have Nick hold shit down, right? He did his work behind their back. I was so excited to see why the shit going to go off after that. I was like, now, College Hill, y'all know y'all wrong. But again, they want to leave a little cliffhanger, leave you in suspense. So I want to see next week what the hell Saucy going to try to do to recover himself. Because in my opinion, boy, you done felt everything. You ain't showed up for nothing. And I don't think you're going to pass. But at least you will have had the experience somewhat. In any event, I'm still enjoying College Hill. FYI PSA, the Braxtons are coming back on tomorrow. I think they come on WeTV tomorrow. And I'm nervous, y'all. I'm nervous. I want to watch the Braxtons, but I didn't grown to like Tamar through this show, and I don't want to go back hating the poor lady, right? Or the character that she plays, right? Also, Love and Hip Hop is back. I'm going to watch. I watched the first episode the other day. I don't like Chaotic and Scrappy beefing, even if it's only for the show. I think it's whack and corny. I love Chaotic, and I think Scrappy cool too, and I like their little friendship. So the way they're carrying it now, even if it's just for the show, I don't fucking like it. But I'm going to tune in and we'll talk about it. I'm going to get it lit at 6. I just was refraining from doing so because a lot of heavy topics have been in the media lately, and emotionally, I'm not equipped to deal with certain things. But that's something else I'll talk about in another video. In any event, you guys drop down in the comments. Tell me what you're thinking about College Hill. Let's discuss. Which one of them is your favorite cast member? Did you know this entire cast? Is there some people you didn't know till they came to this show? Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you for tuning in. And last but not least, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Drop your commentary and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy your day. Lord have mercy. It's always something. I gotta get me a new flicker.